Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. What we have on the bench today is, I guess I would think it's a late 90s, maybe early 2000s. Well, maybe not early 2000s because I don't think they were Pro Logic at that time. It's probably 90s, maybe early 90s. It's a Technics SA-EX310, and it's an AV control stereo receiver. I don't think it actually does any video switching. It only switches audio as far as I know. Oh, there's a VCR switch here. Actually, let me have a quick peek. Oh, it does. It does do some video switching. Okay, so it's definitely an audio video receiver. I picked this one up for 20 bucks. Had a coupon for $5, so it's $15. I did some very minor testing in the store, verified that the relay was clicking. But other than that, I'm not sure if it's producing any sound. These have some kind of either SVI or STK chip in them. So it's those one chip amps type chips that Technics was using back in the day. I don't know if it's a Sanyo chip or if it's one of their own. We'll get a peek at that later. I can verify to you that it is turning on, and you can hear for the relay click. There's the big click, and it does a little pretty little light show there. You can hear surround sound clicking from stereo to some kind of surround. So that's all working. So as far as condition, it's not bad. Typical, scratched top, dirt everywhere. But as far as features, this thing is bare bones. There's just nothing on there. It doesn't even have an A/B speaker switch. It only has speaker on and speaker off, and you can hear them clicking. They're switching for VCR, TV, DVD. That's interesting. So if it says DVD, it has to be what, 97 is when DVDs came out. It's got a tape monitor, CD, tuner, and phono. Tone controls are down here. You got bass, treble. This thing is so cheap that it doesn't even have a center detente position, where usually when you get to center, it kind of clicks or whatever. Not this one. You just got to line up the little tiny dot with that dot. Same with balance, no center detente position. It's got muting. Muting on now. And I think that's it. I would think it is remote capable because it's got a remote sensor here. And as far as tuner, you got AM, FM, tuning up, down, and presets here with a memory button. So really, really bare bones. Let me just pause. I'm going to pop over to Hi-Fi Engine and see if there's a manual for this thing. All right, yeah, there is a manual. There it is. So it was produced between 1996 and 1998. And as you can see, it's 70 watts per channel for front channel, center, and rear. Find that hard to believe, but that's what it's saying. And we've got an instruction manual and a service manual. That's cool. That's going to help us. So anyway, one thing you should do is when you bring home a receiver like this, don't be hooking up any of your speakers to it yet. Like I said, I have not tested this for sound. We're going to do that in a moment. I would wait until we do a quick DC offset check to make sure there's not some nasty DC coming out of the speaker terminals. So I'm going to set the speaker up, I'm going to set up the camera on its mount, and we're going to test for DC offset and see if we have any sound. Okay, welcome back. I've got my DC meter. I think I'm in the left channel right now. I'm going to turn on the amp. Relay click. This has got those spring clips. So you kind of got to hold them because you can't close the clips down because the probes are too thick. Okay, so we got about 25 millivolts on the left channel. And I'll just check the right channel. And we've got 18 millivolts on the right channel. Okay, for stereo. I'm not going to check the surround sound channels and the center channel. So we're okay to hook up some speakers to this thing and see if it makes any sound. So let's do that. Let's plug in into the CD input. And we'll hook up my bench test speakers. Kind of hard to see. Okay. Switch to test. And bring up some music. And hopefully, it's making noise. Let's bring it down. Left, right. Controls aren't even scratchy. Bass, treble. Okay, we got sound, we got no scratch. Got a fully working receiver here. That's good to know. Well, we can begin our restoration. Just one more test here. Let's put on a little bit of something with a drum beat. Nice. It's got decent sound. The reason I actually picked this up is it's going to be my new bench amp. Right now, I am using, down here, below my bench, an old Sherwood, what is it? You can see it for yourself. It's a 74, an S7450. And it's not really what I want to be using down there. That's actually a really nice vintage receiver, and I rebuilt that not too long ago. I'm probably going to sell it. I've got a few people who are interested in it, and it's a shame just to use that as a bench amp. So I'm thinking something El Cheapo like this is going to work a lot better for my needs. And I can abuse this thing and not worry about it. I don't want to damage that Sherwood anymore. Plus, it's down in the the dusty part of the room here. I want to get it off the floor. And this thing will get no respect, but I think it's going to do a good job. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a peek inside. We're going to give it a cleaning, and we're just going to restore it. And hope you stay with me. I'm just going to take a pause, and I'll be right back. Okay, welcome inside the EX310. And we're greeted with quite a bit of dust. Here's our power supply section here, made of filtering. So it's got 6,800 microfarad at 63 volts. So not bad. And then a couple 5,000s. If you look down there, you see what I see? That, my friends, is nasty conductive glue. And I can see a little resistor down there. I think it's a resistor that is completely enveloped in it. So that's going to have to be cleaned. So we're going to have to pull these caps and clean that glue. It's only, oh no, it is on this side too. It's on this side as well. But it shouldn't be too bad to clean. I think that's the only place they've applied glue. It's pretty dusty in here, as you can see on the main heatsink here. And it's a speaker relays there, undoubtedly. Our outputs are right down there. Pretty cheap all around. There's our tuner board. That's our input board there. Video switching here. And like I mentioned, power supply over here. Now, let me turn this. The preamp is in the front on these things. And it's connected to the main board with these connectors here. This has got a motorized volume control. You can see a little motor here. This is undoubtedly part of the input section here. It's all Panasonic caps, which would make sense at this time because it is a Panasonic product. Now, some of the Matsushita caps at this time were known for having leaky legs. I'm going to have a good look at these to make sure they're not leaking. I don't know if that problem got into the 90s or not, but during the 80s they definitely had some leakage going on. And what's crazy is they'll be leaking electrolyte all over the place, but they'll measure perfect. And what do we have here? Here is what Technics was doing back in the day. It's a Class H amplifier module. And I'm not sure what the model is. It says RSN 307M44A H1 110708. So I don't know if that's an SDK or an SVI. I'm sure the service manual will tell us. But job number one here will be to bring this outside and get it under the compressor and blow the living hell out of it. And then what we'll do is we're going to remove this faceplate, take off this preamp board, and disassemble the front so we can get out all the controls and clean everything back there. And clean these potentiometers here for bass treble, even though they were making no noise whatsoever. Like they're fine, but we're still going to do a little cleaning on them. And the volume control, again, completely silent, so the amp's in good working condition. Around back, we've got your typical controls and inputs. Ground for phono, AM, FM, your analog inputs here, audio, and then your video switching, and it even has a subwoofer output. Huh. Interesting. One courtesy outlet, and we have a detachable power cord, which I like about Technics back in the day, that they gave you the option, and it just made installation a lot nicer. So anyway, that's a look inside. I won't be recapping this thing whatsoever. I'm not going to touch it, provided these caps aren't leaking. They're good quality, and we're just going to leave them alone because it's going to do its job for what I need it for. So anyway, we're going to pause and get this thing blown out, and we'll continue on. Hey, welcome back. I have taken the faceplate off. There's just 3 screws at the bottom, and then you basically just pull this straight out from the chassis. These are the connections here for the various functions on the front end here. And what we're going to do is to properly clean this, we're going to want to remove all the screws on there. This looks like it's the headphone jack, yeah. Power switch on this side, I think. And I think there's one more thing we need to remove. I took the knobs off, and there is a nut there holding the volume control on. I don't know what size this is. I think that should do. Yeah, there's the volume. And really holding this in now is this headphone jack. Oh, looks like it just pulls straight out. And there we go. There's our function board. If you were recapping it, there's quite a few electrolytics on here, short ones, so they fit in the faceplate. These two boards come apart as well. You don't have to remove them. And here are our potentiometers. And it looks like they're sealed. I mean, you can, if you wanted to, you could desolder them off the board. But I honestly don't think I'm going to be doing anything here other than giving that a wipe, making sure it's clean, and taking this over and physically washing it. And you can remove all the buttons from inside, so you get a good scrub. You can use soap and water, glass cleaner, whatever you like. Here's some more buttons for you. More. So now you've freed up the faceplate entirely, and you can see there's quite a bit of cloudiness here. We're going to wash that, and then we're going to give it a polish with some Plastex, because that's all this is super cheap plastic. I don't know what this liquid is here. Oh, you know what that might be? I took this outside. It's a very humid day here, and it could be just moisture from the compressor. I don't have a water filter on my compressor, so it does come out a little bit moist. So there we go. So we got the faceplate out. Here's our control board, our 15 million screws. I'm going to go clean this and shall return. All right, we're back from the sink. One thing I do want to mention is when you pull out a section of buttons like this, you have to be very careful. These pieces of plastic are very similar to like when you used to make models back in the day, and the little parts came on these plastic pegs and you would break them off, right? Same kind of thing here. It's molded in that way. So if you push on these too hard, they'll snap because there's nothing behind the buttons to keep them from going all the way in. So you have to be really careful when you're cleaning these. I clean these with a brush, and they turned out really good. A little bit of use a degreaser on them, and like something like this where there's just a tiny little hook of plastic underneath, that's going to bust off so easy. So you have to be super careful with those. All right, we're just going to turn our attention to this faceplate glass here. It's our plastic glass, and there's some horrible staining. Oops, sorry, I just hit you there. Staining on the glass here looks terrible. So we're going to use a little bit of Plastex and a microfiber cloth. See if this takes the staining off at least. I'm just going to apply it with a paper towel. And I like to remove it before it's had an opportunity to dry. So I get my microfiber and I get in there, and I don't push real hard because this stuff scratches so easily. It's still a little wet from the sink. But yeah, that's already a million times better. the staining is gone now. So not bad at all. I'll keep working at that. And then for your, I believe it's a vacuum fluorescent display, just dry, give it a little wipe. If it's really dirty, then a little bit of glass cleaner, but you do not need to go crazy on this. That is it. So you're going to get it shiny and then just set it aside. You don't want to mess with that too much. I'm going to keep working on this faceplate. I might just try polishing the top here a little bit, see if I can get these gouges out. I mean, it's plastic, right? As soon as you put another piece of equipment on these things, they scratch. They're junk, right? So anyway, let me continue on with that. I'll be right back. This is the back side of the amp here. One thing I like to do on these Technics is I like to tighten the 2 screws on the amplifier module. Now this one you can get at no problem. This one here, unless you have a really short screwdriver, which I don't, you're going to have to pull the back plate off, which is not bad. It's a, I don't know, 10 or so screws. Pull off the tuner card and the input board. If the input board comes off, it should. Why isn't it coming off? Oh, that's part of the tuner board there. Well, that's a pain in the ass. I don't know if I can get a screwdriver in here or not. Let's see. I don't want to force it either. As long as I can get that screwdriver in there so I can tighten this screw down. Yes, and it is, they are quite loose, I've noticed. Like they're taking a good quarter turn because there's you know, this thing's heat cycling. It's getting hot, cold, and this is aluminum. I don't know what these are made out of, but you know, they're contracting at different times. I really don't know why this card won't come out, but it's not important. And while I'm back here, I am going to clean all these jacks and so forth, get that all clean. The compressor did a really good job of blowing out all the dust on this thing. I mean, it is super clean. I've also gone around and I have inspected the legs on these caps, and I don't see any corrosion or classic Panasonic Matsushita cap leakage. So we're probably past that point in the late 90s. So we're good to go here. I'm also going to clean this back plate while I'm at it and get everything reinstalled. The faceplate has been done. It's back in place. So it's just a matter of getting these jacks cleaned up a little bit and putting it all back together. I shall return. Okay, I've got the back panel back on. We've tightened up the amplifier module to the heatsink nicely. I did chip away at the glue around the base of these capacitors. The only component that was really in the glue was this little resistor here, so I removed all the glue around it. There's a couple jumper wires there. I'm just going to leave it. It's still pretty malleable. When I chipped underneath it, it kind of peeled off and it was still kind of soft, so not concerned about it. And again, this amp is not going to be doing any kind of special duty, so if she fails, she fails, right? It's one of those type of things. So we're going to put the faceplate back on, so we're just going to line this up. And you're going to want to slide the faceplate onto those connectors. Sometimes easier said than done. There we go. And then just slide it home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all look connected. And then you can turn it over. And if the screw holes are lining up, you know you're okay, which they are. That's really all there is to doing a quick service on this amp. The service manual I downloaded from Hi-Fi Engine, it is the same model number, but it seems like it's a for European model, because it's got it's mostly discussing 240 volt input, and it's also showing a fan mounted in the front of the heatsink, which this unit does not have. Okay, that's it. Let's plug it in and see if we got some sound. All right, let's try turning this on, and hopefully our relays click and everything works. Display is working. I heard the click. Let's press play here. Yeah, we are working. Good stuff. All right, I'll check the other inputs later. I don't think the tuner is going to do enough. Oh, look at that. It's actually working. I'm in the basement here and no antenna hooked up. And I mean, this is the most powerful station in the city. If you can't pick this up, you really suck. But I have had some amps down here that won't do it. So that's good. So tuner's working. All the controls are fine. Again, no static or anything. All the volume is working good. The bass control, treble control, balance, all nice and smooth. The faceplate has cleaned up really nice. And the gloss is nice and shiny now. Sorry about the reflection of my shirt there. And inside is nice and clean. Got all the crap blown out of it. There's a big amp module. So yeah, I could definitely see this thing being like 50 to 70 watts per channel with a couple 6800 microfarad caps there. I'm not sure what the smaller ones are, but this is a Class H, so I'm wondering if this is similar to NAD's power envelope technology, where the smaller caps do most of the work and then the two big reserve caps kick in when more power is needed during transient peaks and so forth. So I'm just wondering if that's why there's 4 filter caps there. So that'd be interesting. But like I said, it is a Class H. All right, so I am just going to clean up the top on it and clean up the feet, and then we will wrap this one up. Okay, so we're going to say bye-bye to the Technics SA-EX310. But we're not really saying bye to it because it is going to be under the bench, looking after all my sound for my computer and so forth, and all the turntables I work on, because we're going to be plugging in our turntables to the phono stage of this receiver. And that way I can get my Sherwood out from underneath the bench and into a good home where it belongs. We just need like something like this, something not too great, but reliable and functional and easy to operate, because I'm always reaching down, and it'd be nice to have these nice big buttons here so I can hit, phono, tuner, all that kind of good stuff when I'm working on turntables. So that's it. So another thrift store find and restore. Not the best shape. Top's seen better days, but I honestly think that it's the thrift stores themselves that damage these pieces of equipment. I can imagine that the homeowner does as well, but I've seen the way these guys throw this stuff around when they get donated, and when they put them on the shelf, they just throw crap on top of them. Like this had like 18 pieces of junk on top of it when I saw it. So yeah, so a lot of the damage occurs right in the store. Anyway, hope to get back to some turntables real soon. Summer is a quiet time. I do have a couple coming in though, and hopefully we'll get those filmed and up on YouTube. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.